This is why they're here, because they're eating their food. Perfect example of fill bedding. You want to take their attention off this area and put it in internal. So probably by the time that you see this, Merry Christmas would probably be a pretty appropriate opening statement here. We are in the cabin here, getting ready to do some family things here over the next couple of days. And like I said, I'm going to try to upload this maybe Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. But so Merry Christmas, everybody watching, and I really appreciate all the support. This last month has been pretty overwhelming. Great season coming up, and overwhelming in a good way, I should say. And all the support and positive notes, the social media messages, the inboxes, the emails, everything is looking good. I don't want to jinx 2021 because of the 2020 issue that we had or still have. And but thank you very much. And tonight we are going to talk about hiring a habitat consultant. If you have any interest in hiring a outdoor consultant of any platform, not just habitat consulting. But tonight we're going to talk about hiring a habitat consultant, and with the emphasis obviously on the design part of it and what you should be looking for and why. So we're going to start with the first topic that I have here on the board. We're going to start with well-rounded. And to me, when we're talking about a habitat consultant, especially someone that specializes in design such as me. Now there's guys out there that just do the habitat work and consult on just hinge cutting or just food plots, let's say, and that's great because everybody has their spot in the world, I guess you should say. There's a lot, I've said this on a lot of other videos, there's a lot of guys out in the industry that have way a more green thumb than I do, and so if we all kind of respect each other and everybody kind of knows where the power is, there's a lot to be said for that, and that ties in to being well-rounded as far as a habitat consultant, with emphasis, like I said, on the design. My past, not only in the outdoor industry, but my past outside of the industry is in service management and mechanic service management. So I was a service manager for a motorsports dealer for a number of years, and then I moved into the ag side of it. So service manager through a John Deere dealer. If you don't connect as a manager with folks, you can have the greatest people working for you and with you, and there's one way. There's an old message that was said to me years ago by an old gentleman, that there's one way to the top, and that's with your people, not against them. And that message has always stuck with me for years and years, and that message came from one of the owners actually of that motorsports dealership I was telling you about. So to recap on that, there's one way to the top, and that's with your people, not against them, is that message. And I just, that kind of is how I've built this whole business around, is what I try to do is I try to connect that void, because there are a lot of folks out there that need the help from someone such as myself that don't don't reach out because they're afraid of what Joe down the road is going to say. They're afraid of what people in a hunt club are going to say, that you had to reach out and really, did you really pay somebody to help you do that? And I think those are the people that are the people that frown upon that, or the people that point the finger at people that reach out to get that help, are the same people that are in that bracket that we can throw that just aren't good managers themselves, or just don't think outside the box to bring the 20% of people that may not be doing what you do, and the 80% of the people that are trying to do it that are failing, and connect them together. To me, that's a manager, and that is where a well-rounded habitat consultant is. Folks that are doing this, that are just out of college with a college degree, that have a degree in forest management. Like I've said before, is everyone needs to stay in their lane, and them are the folks that I really believe that they're great people at heart, but I think that they're setting folks up that are kind of on the edge of reaching out to a habitat consultant anyway. They're pushing them to a point where we'll never get them, because those are the properties that I'm going to and finding that it's all built around TSI. It's not built around whitetail hunting or it's built around our wildlife habitat, not strictly whitetail habitat. And being well-rounded, you have to be able to take the client, you have to be able to take the needs, you have to be able to take the area, you have to be able to take the habitat, and make that all rise to the top and hunt through them. And that's just a connection that not a lot of folks do. So I would recommend that, doing your homework on the well-rounded, making sure that you find somebody that has a connection with people outside of the habitat consultant that know how to kind of relate to people, and maybe that makes you a little more worldly. I don't know what the case is, but I find myself connecting with folks better on a personal level, and we have things that have happened before, maybe family, and that all comes with that analysis package. And I feel that if you call somebody that doesn't offer a well-rounded service, you're going to know in your heart right straight out that it's a forced connection. And that's, that it's like, I guess any relationship, as corny as that sounds, but you'll know in your heart when you meet somebody if that service is not only the perfect service for your whitetail habitat, but the perfect service for you, to know that if there's a problem, that you can reach out, and that person that you're reaching out to isn't one of those service managers that just rules with an iron fist, that's not going to return phone calls and not going to talk to you. To me, that's a well-rounded person, and that's something that I try to do, and I hope that shines through. So number one, finding someone that's well-rounded. The experience has to come from knowing how to hunt through somebody else, and that's something that we're going to talk about here in personal fit. But we might as well touch on it right now. The experience level, guys. To me, there's this. I'm not going to call it a fad in the industry, but I'm going to call it a vision. And what that vision is focused on right now is there's a lot of guys out there that have a wall that is way bigger and way more full than what I have here in my place. Right now, there's a connection in the industry that is tied to a kind of a look how many bucks that I have killed for myself, and I fear that in the consultant, when folks are looking to hire a consultant, and this is why. The reason that is because, and this is why I feel so strongly about it, you have to be able to have proven success. That's a given. Obviously, I realize that. If I showed you my wall versus 3 or 4 other guys in the industry, maybe around the country, then maybe my number of deer kills aren't as high. But if I were to take my the number of deer that I have put clients on, they would far surpass. I can guarantee you that it would far surpass anybody that's in the industry as far as how many deer on their wall. Now that's not a bragging point. That what I'm saying there is them aren't my deer, but I have I put those clients on those deer to kill, and that's a very important piece of the puzzle. So when you're looking for somebody that has experience, you have to be able to in this, and I think that's what my connection is, and that's why I've been trying to go down this road for years, and finally, a couple years back when I decided to do this full time, is that's what I was gearing this whole business towards, is the experience, to know that I can shine through on my client's property. Now, there's a lot of folks out there that the best way to explain it is they can hunt for themselves, but can a habitat consultant hunt for you or through you? And that comes with guiding, maybe that comes with that personal connection that I have outside, like we were talking about, on a management side to begin with. Not a habitat management side or a whitetail management side, but just a management background, a business management background. So that's something to look for is whether that's reaching out to some clients that have been successful with the habitat consultant that you're looking to hire. That to me shows that your consultant knows how to put different people with different clientele with different habitat on deer and be successful. Now, there's so many things that come into that. If I were in a tree and I hung a stand for me, and I knew I could get in and out of that stand location. Because of the way I enter, because of the way I walk, because of the slow pace that I take, and I don't overheat. Now, can you do that? And that is a direct connection. A lot of times with guiding is folks don't, they set up a tree stand. A guide sets up a tree stand. Can your clients get in it? That kind of thing. And to me, that all ties into the experience, because the experience that you have to have as a consultant to be able to make those properties shine. So to me, that's one of those things that's just, it's kind of a downer right now, because I think a lot of folks are designing properties for themselves and not for someone else. So number 3 here is something that the habitat and the tree knowledge side of it. This is something that's very important, but I think it's also used maybe as a marketing tool, because a college degree on the TS side, or the timber, the hardwood management degree, or knowing the ins and outs of what trees do what and what trees grow where. That's all a part of being a whitetail consultant in all over the country in the deer whitetail range, all the whitetail ranges. But knowing what regenerates the best, knowing what needs to be in transition areas so that your oaks aren't overabundant in this spot, and you're not creating, you don't have a part of the farm that's non-deer areas. Those are things that you need to make sure that a consultant, a habitat consultant, knows. And I see a lot of the time and especially in the south and the southeast right now, part of the country, this is a huge deal. When we start getting into the red pine plantations, and the plantation owners down there or the hunt clubs hire someone with a vast knowledge of the red pine and those long leaf trees, if you will, and they get kind of caught in a habitat, not a whitetail habitat focus, and before you know it, you're caught in a TSI improvement, and with someone that can tell you, yes, this needs to be cut, this is what this tree is. Now, if you have someone that goes on the property and can't tell you the difference between a red oak and a white oak, then you have a problem. But I don't focus so much on someone that's just telling you that, we know how to regrow all this red pine, or we know how to make this, this oak stand explode for you and start creating these oak savannas that you hear of. So that, knowing the habitat is key. The tree knowledge is key, but maybe don't hold a gentleman that doesn't know all the, someone in the industry that's doing this as a consultant doesn't know all the trees in the world, and you go through and you pull off a bunch of leaves, and I showed up to a client's property one time, and he had a 3-ring binder with a whole bunch of leaves in it, and he wanted me to name the leaves. Well, like I told him by the end that we got through, and I think I did pretty good. I named a lot of them, but when we got to the end of it, there was only 2 or 3 of those leaves in there, or those trees, that really influenced his property. The rest of them were pretty much just filler in his 3-ring binder. So take that into consideration. That is one of those spots where you can let a little a leeway go, but with the knowledge that you don't want to be destroying marketable timber if there's a place for that on your property. So the habitat and the knowledge of the tree work, that is one spot, guys, that you can kind of be a little more free and a little more lenient on with somebody, just making sure that they understand the tree knowledge connected with whitetail habitat. That is key. The personal fit here that we're going to talk about, number 4, is the personal fit. That's kind of what we talked about a little bit with well-rounded and that whole management thing. But the personal fit is, I really believe that being having that connection with someone that you can reach out to before and after, like my analysis package, or whatever the other folks call that in the industry, that first meeting, if you will, on the farm. A lot of times that personal fit or that personal connection is severed when the design of a property is done, and the folks just go on to the next client. After my designs are done, I stay on free of charge for a year, and my phone is always, at least once or twice a month from my clients is calling, and folks are reaching out. And in the evenings when I have time to call, I spend 30, 40, 50 nights in a depending on the year, in a motel between client properties, and there's always time to answer somebody's question. And the reason that I don't sever that personal connection with folks is because I feel if you do in this industry as a consultant, you fall into that I'm the manager and I'm going to rule with an iron fist trap, and you cut your line of learning off, because even though I do this full time and I travel the country, I always learn. I learn on every property. That to me is what makes a well-rounded, experienced, habitat consultant. Number 5, if there's anything, there's a lot of them, I guess, but if there's anything that stands right out that tells you, that throws red flags up when you're talking to someone about designing a property, or coming and setting a design, or doing an analysis package, and starting the consultant connection on your property, if they offer, or if the service that you have found to reach out to them says that we are going to, that they can design that property for you from above, I would recommend to run, because I have, out of the 60 clients that will do, 65 clients that will do this year, possibly more. I've got some more pending because of the rollover from last year. I can honestly tell you, without exaggerating, that I've got about 20 to 25 clients this year that have had somebody design that from above. Now, I've got 20 to 25 clients that had somebody else do that for them, and I've got about 20 clients that have designed their properties themselves from above. And keeping in mind those folks have walked their property, the consultants that they're reaching out and trying to charge these folks, or trying to charge you guys, have never set foot on it. So at least the landowners have a little more leg up there, and which is right, because they're trying some ideas, and then they just get to a point where it's like, we need someone to help us out. We're going down a road where they feel like they're spending money redoing projects, spending money in the wrong places. And this right here, guys, is one of the biggest red flag when you're looking to hire a consultant to set up your whitetail properties. This is something that, the biggest thing right here is, never hire somebody that says, I can give you all the ideas, I can give you all the information, I can tell you where your hinge cuts need to be, I can tell you where your food plots need to be, everything from above. Because I'm here to tell you, if that doesn't fit your contour, and if that doesn't fit your farm and connect with you personally on a personal basis, this whole scheme right here is a recipe for disaster. It's a dead-end road, and then within a few years down the road, you're going to get a guy like me that comes in and hopefully fixes that, and it's a waste of time. That is something that I can honestly tell you that I feel very strongly about. These are the things that I recommend, and what I'm trying to do here, guys, is I'm trying to set the process through the rest of the end of the hunting season, in now transitioning into the whitetail habitat improvement season. I'm trying to set this precedence so you guys know the process, kind of to get you to set you up for success. Because already what I've seen in the industry videos that, and I'm on YouTube all the time, stuff pops up, this guy's got this guy's got this, they're doing the latest and greatest hinge cuts, hire the hinge cuts, all this nonsense that's out there in the world. And what happens is they're ahead of themselves. They're ahead of the ball game. And when you start, I feel that when you start putting videos out right now in December about food plots, and about there's numerous things, tree stand placements, is you're already you're taking the emphasis off what needs to be set in stone, that footprint that needs to be made, that concrete that needs to be, that foundation that needs to be laid. And this is one of those pieces of that foundation that you need to start with if you're going to hire a consultant. Now, there's a lot of guys out there that just watch these channels, my channel and many other channels, I'm sure, and get these ideas and then you implement them yourselves, and that's great. But if you are looking to hire a consultant, this is where that fits in, is right at the right at the tail end of your hunting season, where you can still share your experiences that you had with your hired consultant that you reach out. And if you were to call me, we're going to share some stories about this year's success, what worked, what didn't work, what your struggles are, different from the years in the past, that is when you start making this connection. And then so a week from now, when we do some other videos, we're going to start transitioning into the design portion of it, and after that I'm going to start walking you in the process of tree work and laying some stuff out. But I really feel that strong. So if you're watching videos right now that are out there that are flooding the industry right now with already your tree work, your chainsaws, dial yourself back and make sure that, one, that you're choosing the right consultant, two, your design is done, and then we can work on what is to come in the Whitetail Habitat 2021 season. So this is one of those first steps, guys. Thanks.